Silence doesn't come with fireworks. It doesn't arrive screaming or demanding attention. It simply shows up, calm and composed, like a storm cloud that never thunders but still floods everything in its path. And the moment a man chooses that silence, not out of bitterness, not to play games, but because he's had enough and values his peace more than the chaos, it hits different. It hits harder. It leaves a woman sitting in confusion, not understanding how or when the shift happened. She was expecting words, a reaction, maybe even anger. But instead, she gets nothing. No texts, no calls, no attempts to fix it. And that nothing, it starts echoing. Louder than any argument, colder than any insult. Because when a man goes quiet, after giving love, consistency, and emotional presence, the silence speaks louder than any scream ever could. That's the part most women never prepare for. They expect men to react, to plead, to explain themselves into exhaustion. They expect men to stay in the loop of conflict resolution because that's how it's always gone. So when he doesn't, when he simply disappears emotionally, it becomes unsettling. She doesn't know what to do with that silence. It forces her to sit with her thoughts, her actions, her decisions. It forces her to analyze herself in ways she's never done before. And that reflection, it's brutal. Because there's no distraction left, no emotional ping-pong, just the growing realization that he's not playing anymore. He's not invested, he's not even mad, he's indifferent. And that indifference isn't cruelty, it's closure. A quiet closure that doesn't knock on the door, it just walks out. And what's left behind is a woman facing herself, haunted by the noise of her own conscience. She's used to the cycle. Drama flares, emotions explode, and the man rushes in explaining, apologizing, trying to smooth everything over. That's the rhythm she's familiar with. The emotional dance where she controls the tempo and he responds on cue. But when you remove yourself from that rhythm, when you no longer participate in the back and forth, it throws her off balance. Suddenly, she's not sure how to interpret your silence. It's not angry. It's not dramatic. It's just ... still. And that stillness becomes deafening. It's the first time she's truly left alone with her own actions, without you rushing in to soothe the aftermath. No explanations, no closure, no emotional safety net. Just the sharp contrast between your past consistency and your current absence. She starts to feel the emptiness you used to fill. Not just your presence, but your emotional leadership, the way you grounded the chaos. Gave stability to her mood swings, offered calm during the storms. Now, with you gone, everything feels unstable. She begins to spiral. Not because you're shouting or making her feel guilty, but because your silence makes her reflect. It disrupts the predictable pattern she relied on. You're no longer predictable, no longer controllable, no longer available to play your part in her emotional theater. And that shakes her. She begins to question herself. Not just the recent fight, but the whole relationship. She replays every ignored text, every moment she dismissed your effort, every time she acted cold when you opened up. Your silence isn't just absence, it's a mirror. It reflects back her own behavior without any commentary. And that's what causes the breakdown she never saw coming. Because for the first time, you're not reacting. You're not trying to fix it. You're done. And now, she's stuck questioning everything in the silence you left behind. She never anticipated your calm withdrawal. She expected tension, a final blowout, maybe a desperate attempt to win her back. That's the pattern she's seen over and over: men fighting to stay. Men trying to prove their worth after she pushed them away. But you didn't give her that satisfaction. You didn't react. You didn't chase. You left with grace, with composure, and with complete emotional detachment. And that scares her more than any words ever could. Because it means something final. It means she no longer holds any power over you. You've unplugged. She can't read your energy. Can't feel your emotional pulse. Can't provoke a response. That terrifies her. You're no longer predictable. You're no longer in reach. She starts checking her phone more than she admit, looking for a message that never comes, staring at your old texts, listening to your voice notes, hoping there's something she missed a sign, a loophole, something to suggest you're not really gone. But nothing shows up. And the silence, it becomes heavier. It starts pressing against her pride, her ego, her false sense of control. She thought you'd always be there, thought she could pull you back in when she wanted. That's the part that hurts, now realizing that the access she once had is completely gone. It became a mystery again, but not the thrilling kind that excites her, the kind that haunts her. She can't place you anymore. She doesn't know what you're thinking, who you're with, or how you're moving on. That unknown becomes her personal torment. And the worst part is, it's not because you did something cruel. You simply stopped showing up. You stopped trying. And in doing nothing, you delivered the consequence she never thought she'd have to face: a world without your presence. She won't talk about it. Not to her friends, not even to herself. But late at night, when the world quiets down and the distractions fade, your absence hits her like a wave. It's not loud, it's not sudden, it's just ... relentless. It creeps into her thoughts when she's scrolling through her phone, looking for something that makes her feel again. And every Memories she tries to suppress start surfacing: your patience, your presence, the way you showed up without needing recognition. And now that you're gone, there's nothing to replace that feeling. She tries. Maybe she talks to someone new. Maybe she posts things that scream, "I'm fine," but it's all noise. None of it sticks. Because your energy wasn't temporary, was real. She replays every moment in her mind. The time she rolled her eyes when you opened up. The cold responses to your warm effort. The way she dismissed you when you tried to bring clarity to chaos. And now, she's trying to locate the exact moment she lost you. But there is no single moment. It was a slow buildup, a series of small, careless cuts that she never thought would matter. Because she assumed you'd always be there. That your consistency meant permanence. That no matter how she acted, you'd keep showing up. But you didn't. Not this time. Your silence now is different. It isn't angry or passive-aggressive. It's final. It's detached. It says, "I've seen enough." And that's what breaks her more than any argument could have. Because the moment you stopped trying is the moment she had to face everything she took for granted. And nothing she does now, not the late-night thoughts, not the social media performance, not the rebound attempts, can fill that void. Your silence did what your words never could. It made her see. You didn't leave with a dramatic exit. You didn't yell, break things, or launch a final monologue. You simply stopped showing up. You stopped explaining yourself. You stopped making her the center of your emotional world. And that's what broke her. Because it wasn't about proving a point, it was about protecting your peace. That silence didn't come from spite, it came from clarity. The clarity that said, "This is no longer worth my energy." And once a man gets to that place, it's done. Not temporarily. Not emotionally, on pause. Done. She didn't expect that. She expected you to fight harder, to try one more time. But you didn't. You just stopped, and your absence said everything your presence used to. Now she's stuck in a loop. She tells herself you're being immature. Tells her friends you ghosted her for no reason. But deep down, she knows the truth. You were solid. You were stable. You chose her when you didn't have to. You gave her chances long after she stopped deserving them. And now, your silence is her punishment, not because you're trying to hurt her, but because you've healed past needing to be understood. She thought you'd always return. That you were the safe choice. But she mistook calmness for weakness, stability for dullness. And now she understands the price of that mistake. Every man after you feels like noise. They talk too much, chase too hard, lack the quiet strength you carried. Your silence didn't just remove your presence, it removed her access to something real. And once a woman loses access to a man of value, nothing feels the same again. Because you didn't just leave, you elevated. You outgrew the chaos. And in doing so, you became the standard she'll never feel again. That silence. It became your legacy.